Hello everyone, this is our group presentation from Group 1 and this is the list of the members.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Rahman Hakim Muhammad Saiti. My metric number is 278625. I will present about history Internet of Things. The ideas of embedding sensor and intelligence into commonplace thing was considered in the 1918 and 1990 and possibly much early, but development was slow due to a lack of technology. In the early 1990, at MIT Auto ID Center, Kevin Austin, the center director, is said to had originated the term Internet of Things in 1999. Austin proposed employing radio frequency identification (RFID) tags to track items in Procter and Gamble's supply chain in 1997. RFID tags were used to read and identify objects before wirelessly transmitting the data via a network. Next, defining Internet of Things. A network of physically devices connected that can collect, transmit and exchange data. IoT devices are frequently connected to computer system via data or Wi-Fi network. Supply chain management (SCM) has been transformed by IoT device. It's a lot easier to figure out where things are, how they are stored, and how they arrive. IoT device which utilize GPS and other technology to track product and shipment across the supply chain are a good way to keep track of item of and shipment. They can also monitor product storage condition, allowing to better quality control across supply chains. Next, component IoT. First, sensor or device. To begin, sensor or device gather data from their surrounding. This information cloud range from a basic temperature reading to a whole stream video stream. Second, connectivity. The data is then delivered to the cloud, but it must first find a mean to get there. Next, data processing. Once the data reaches the cloud is in our data processing section. Software processing it in some way. And the last, user interface. The data is then made usably to end user in some way. This could be done by sending a notification to the user like email, text and notification. And the last, characteristic of supply chain system in IoT context. First, enhancing the visualization of system of supply chains. One of the key purpose of the Internet of Things is to increase human perception and intelligent processing. Second, enhancing the robustness of supply chains. One of the main elements to consider the construction of supply chain system is improving the resilience of supply network and reducing supply chain unpredictability. And lastly, realizing supply chain intelligent management. One of significant development in supply chain function is the implementation the supply chain intelligent management, which is an
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Syuhaida binti Syafi'i. My metric number 27731. There are few examples on how IoT been used in supply chain management. Amazon. For one of the world perceived brand, supply chain management are incredibly important. The artificial intelligence system evaluates which items are to be prioritized for Amazon Prime order, for example, and the robot do the rest. Whereas this takes place, laborer can focus on packaging racks. It's robot and people working side by side through IoT. Volvo. Swedish car producer Volvo is not alone for pushing for IoT advance in cars, but the IoT is additionally impacting what goes on behind the scene to urge this car on the road. Volvo is utilizing cloud-based administration and IoT advance to bolster the logistics side of its supply chain. Nissan, with Saint Robert in machine learning strategy as its plant in Sunderland, UK, has moreover computerized a huge portion of its supply chain. So, the key portion of its IoT and the endless enhancement program, it has drastically made the fabricating process much more efficient. Dallas Area Rapid Transit. In case you may have traceability over your entire fleet, so simply know exactly where each truck may be and when, and which is the leading cause for it to require on any given day. That's precisely how IoT innovation has helped out. New Jersey Transport Authority. Whereas IoT is clearly an important cost-cutting instrument long-term, in New Jersey, USA, it has moreover demonstrated to be a compelling security measure. The information is generated by the crisis administration and traffic management so that they can get to end missions faster. Port of Hamburg. The Port of Hamburg, Germany, is one of the busiest ports in Europe and subsequently is one of the most economic drivers for the local. Once the capacity rises at the harbor, they incorporate smart lighting based on movement detection to as it will light up necessary area. The most function of the sensor is to recognize everything underused capacity so it can be utilized properly. Decathlon. Track and trace is the foremost common form of IoT within the supply chain, and a number of firms are seeing genuine rewards from getting ahead with this innovation. It's utilizing IoT innovation such as radio frequency identification from checkpoint system in more than 400 of its core and plans to amplify its utilization of RFID tagging to millions of its time over the globe. Real-time location tracking. The Internet of Things gives supply chain managers with a coherent stream of real-time information with respect to the area of the item and the transportation environment. Storage condition monitoring. Much appreciated to natural sensors, supply chain manager can track the shipment prepared, the temperature inside the vehicle, pressure, stickiness, and other variables that might compromise the product astuteness. Forecast the movement and the arrival of the product. Much obliged to real-time following, a supply chain IoT company will be able to foresee the ultimate conveyance date as well as estimate and moderate dangers sometime recently they happen. Locate goods in the warehouse. IoT is one of distribution warehouse technology trend as the productivity of warehouse employees, permitting them to spend less time on finding a convenience. Much appreciate the real-time error trackers, the laborers will know the precisely walk away for a particular device. Improve contingency planning. IoT gadget offer assistant supply chain director and range costs, taking under consideration the number of mishaps or other delay-inducing events that happen on the throughway. Higher speed. Route planning tools and associate IoT supply chain administration stage increment the generally supply chain speed effectiveness exponentially. The Internet of Things abbreviates the input cycle, permitting for quicker decision making and many more. Improve flexibility. By building a cloud-based IoT framework, a supply chain chief currently all projects included within the prepare will have get to important information. Higher accuracy. The Internet of Things decreases the effect of human mistake as well by making a different recognized bundle and exploring drivers on the street. Improve segmentation. IoT make a different sort through information and decide design that will show the reasons that makes right or prevent the benefit of each SDK. All company partners will have designed better a much distant better understanding of what sort of clients are pulled into item. Increase efficiency.
My matrix number is 278175. Today I want to talk about the cons of Internet of Things to supply chain management. The advantages of Internet of Things to supply chain management is privacy. Privacy is the biggest issue to the IoT. Data encryption is really essential instead that privacy may be put at risk. Protection measures are definitely in place to secure data, but hackers could always break into the system and steal information. Although the government systems are very high, but the hackers still got their ways to hack into the system. Supply chains are such a significant component of every sector. Pervasive adoption of IoT poses a serious security risk. Entire processes can come to a halt in the event of a cyber attack on an organization's supply chain, resulting in massive financial losses. The second disadvantage of IoT is complexity. Building protected and huge systems for firms seeking IoT will be a difficult challenge with billions of gadgets connected in a computing system. There are more chances of errors in a complicated system. As a result, if the software makes a mistake, it will directly impact the entirety of the system. Furthermore, It is not always easy to fix an IoT error. Compatibility is another disadvantage of IoT to supply chain management. The challenges of IT is the growth of a larger system and internet with so many IP addresses. With many devices connecting to new sensors, each will require its own IP address. It means that there are many different addresses in the world. As this Internet of Things is still in its infancy, there are no objective rules for device tracking and monitoring. Besides that, the disadvantages of IoT to supply chain management is the loss of jobs. Automated machines are already displacing workers in places like supermarket checkout lines and even ATM. Normally, as everyday routines become more automated, there will be fewer demands on human resources, particularly workers and less educated personnel. This could lead to a societal unemployment problem. The advantages of IoT to supply chain management is data management. The function of IoT is to gather large amounts of data and provide complete visibility into systems. Even though obtaining data is also not the only reason to use ICT, it is the data memory and analysis that make it useful. Effective data management systems are required to fully utilize IoT in the supply chain. In order to collect data and give meaning of what is obtained from the sensing device, advanced data management tools are required.
Hello everyone, my name is Tan Hua Yu and my normal metric is 281232, and today I'm going to present about the challenge of Internet of Things in supply chain management. From here we can conclude we have 6 of the challenges that need to be considered by the supply chain manager. The first one is the cost. As we know that IoT is not that cheap and need to buy a lot of the device to success the IoT practice in the supply chain management. As we know that the IoT is combination from the sensoring device and the general device. For the secondary is the skill and the analytical. From here we know that the IoT need to transfer the data to the server or the cloud-based server or in-house servers. Then we need the IT skill persons to manage it. Although the supply chain management need to hire a new IT man to manage it, or they cooperate with the IT department to success the IoT in the supply chain management. For the analytical part, the software and the servers must be strong enough to process of analysis the data received by the Internet of Things, because there are a lot of the data that's transferred from the sensor from the general device to process. So we need a strong analytical software or the servers to help the success IoT in the supply chain management. For the third one is the security and the privacy data. From here we can see the supply chain management must take the consideration of the security of the data, because most of the IoT is process the data into the server, so that the server have the data, and the data is important to prevent the outsider to take to hack in and get some of them to for their interest. Then for the privacy, we have like just the IoT with can like the privacy, we need to protect the data from the customer and the supplier, so we need to protect their data by increase the security of the servers. For the fourth one is the material flow. We know that the IoT can increase the efficiency and improve the speed of the production. So as we know that the material flow was not that fast compared with the IoT, so we need to balance between them to ensure the supply chain management can proceed in a better way. And for the 5 one is the economy training. For as we know that the economy is now for nowadays, the economy is changing based on the taste of the customer. For now the customers want the quality of the product and service and fast delivery speed. So the supply chain manager need to consider it as the and the supply chain management need to consider it as the challenges to and the supply chain management need to consider it as the challenges for the company to increase the speed by applying with the IoT and complying with the demand of the customer. For the last one is the war disaster and the for the last one is war disease and the disaster recovery. As we know that the Malaysia have announced the government for the Malaysia have announced the MCO. That is a movement control order that will lead a lot of the challenges to the supply chain managers to maintain the same production speed or production level as before, because most of the production worker need to back to home, and there will be challenges to the supply chain management to manage the cost of maintaining the IoT device in the warehouse or the production line. That's all from me. Thank you.
Data security is important for industry company in conducting their business. As the saying goes, the machine can be reduced the workload. The work can be done immediately. Second is the government need to provide financial assistance to reduce implementation costs. The government need to produce financial assistance so that an organization is not burdened with implementation costs. This could attract more industrial companies to adopt the Internet of Things in the industry sector. 3. Identify and correcting misconfiguration. Internet of Things involves the explanation of the internet connectivity through standard devices such as computer and smartphone that follow communication and observation from a distance. Therefore, we must identify and correct misconfiguration error in order to drive Internet of Things practice in industry. 4. Constantly evaluate the current operation condition of the network and monitor. As we know, this IoT technology can collect large amount of data and advanced data analysis. This will be able to help the industry to make better decisions of achieve cost saving, improve efficiency, and create business opportunity. 5. Maintain the network against cyber threat. One of the way to prevent cyber threat is to consistently monitor them. In addition, the organization need to know about the weakness of the network and need to understand of it in order to fix the weakness. 6. Increase the program. The government need to increase the number of the training program. This can be used to well-being of the people because they can get the high opinion and standard of living is getting better. The use of technology can stretch the country position in the global supply chain. 7 is collaborative interval. One of the other university is a place of intelligent and skilled people in the various fields. University can also create a scholar who are competitive and can meet the needs of the country one day. Industry is a place to stimulate economic development as well as local community. So, the collaboration between university and the company can further strengthen a club product, brand and stimulate public interest in the development of technology in this area. Globalization. There are also people who are interested in using technology. They prefer a manual using a labor. Therefore, the government should increase interest in the development of technology in industry by holding a nation internet of things strategic roadmap. That's all for the solution.
That's all from us. Thanks for watching.